Hello and welcome to Cinemastrophe, and welcome back to Terminator Month. So we've looked at 2 of the last 3 Terminator movies. What else is there to make fun of this month? No, not porn. Seriously, you people have some fucking issues. How about Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles? Forgot about this, didn't you? Which I find hilarious, seeing how not only did it manage to last 2 whole seasons from 2008 to 2009, but was aired on Fox. Yeah, this wasn't on some rarely watched cable station, but network television. Which is enough to pique my interest and look at the first 3 episodes. Listen, it was this or the comics, and it seems that this guy's already cornered that market.
Why does everyone say that? I mean, we don't even look alike.
Oh, bats! Oh! 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 Bats! Oh! Bats! What the fuck did you think? What the hell I was going to do? Every time I stand in front of you, so you don't have disrespect. How far can you take that bullshit? Now it's time to get this shit on. Oh, that's wrong. Oh, that's wrong. Oh, that's wrong. Oh, that's wrong. Oh, bats. Oh, oh.
Our first episode starts out with Sarah Connor, played by Lena Headey. Yes, before she was an overprotective, nasty, vile, conniving, power-hungry bitch, she was an overprotective, badass, trailblazing, eyebrow-raising, occasional bitch. And in between that, she was attending toga parties. Anyway, she's narrating while driving down the road.
There are those who believe that a child in the womb shares his mother's dreams. Her love for him, her hopes for his future. But what if you'd known since he was inside you what his life held for him? That he would be hunted? Would he understand why you were so hard? Why you held on so tight?
Well, he will up until he's 14, then he'll complain about how you don't understand him and wish you were dead. Isn't parenting fun? She arrives at the library and tells John they have to go because the cops are after them.
I don't know. Maybe.
Well, so much for running. I guess this show is about her prison chronicles. Just for my own curiosity, how many of you would watch that? That's what I thought. As they're being taken into custody, Sarah notices a man walking towards them and instantly recognizes him as a Terminator. So she takes out the cop. Wait, why is he in the back seat with her?
The thing is, Drop your weapon!
Where does he keep getting all these weapons from? Do the Terminators know Highlander technology? You know, the one that allows them to pull swords out of the 5th dimension. Where else did you think they were pulling them out of? The sleeves of the leather jacket? Despite all her efforts, John is shot and killed.
What you say? That you only meant well, 'cause you did. What you say? That it's all for the best, 'cause it is.
Do it! Do it! Kill me! Nothing matters anymore.
You're right. Nothing matters anymore. The future's ours, and it begins now.
Yes, it was all a dream. But she never read Word Up magazine. That's why there were cop cars instead of limousines. The year is 1999. Sarah and John are wanted by the FBI for blowing up cybertech and accused of murdering Miles Dyson from the second movie, so they are in hiding in Nebraska. John is back in school and Sarah has fallen in love again to the point where she has a fiancé named Charlie. However, because of his recent proposal, she feels that they have gotten too close and it's time for her and John to leave.
Listen to me. The cops will never find us. We're safe.
Don't you think that, John? Don't you ever think that? Look at me. No one is ever safe.
That's right. Telemarketers are lurking in the shadows, plotting, waiting, ready to call you the moment you let your guard down. So they leave and Charlie goes to the police to file a missing persons report. Really didn't think that one through, did you? This brings the attention of FBI agent James Ellison, who has been tracking John and Sarah for 5 years. Why is he there? No, really, there is no logical reason for him to be there. Nothing about this missing persons case warrants FBI involvement. Hell, they won't even file it as a missing persons case since she just left, so why is he there? After getting their aliases, he updates his computer file, which is hacked by a Terminator. They gotta tie it in somehow. A month later, they're in New Mexico with new lives. John is in school once again, where he meets this girl named Cameron.
I haven't seen you around here before. Did you just move here?
Yeah.
Sucks for you. My dad sells tractors. What about yours?
Insurance.
Really? What kind?
Boring kind.
That's the kind of tractors my dad sells. What about your mom?
Boy, she sure does ask a lot of questions. Wait a minute, I get it now. The sudden interest out of nowhere, the awkward movements like she doesn't know what to do with herself, tons of questions. She has ADD. The next day, they get a substitute teacher who you might notice is acting a little strange.
Franklin Lane.
Yeah.
Cynthia Nolan.
Here.
Wayne Parker.
Here.
Cameron Phillips.
Not that. Who hasn't had a substitute teacher slice their leg open during class? No? Really? Just me? Alrighty then.
Reese. Do we have a John Reese?
Ah, well. I'm sure the 15 minutes you two spent together will serve you your many years of masturbation. Just don't think about how it ended. Okay, everyone. Say it along with me.
Class dismissed.
Unfortunately for John, he doesn't make it too far before the Terminator catches up with him. And by not too far, I mean the parking lot.
Come with me if you want to live.
What? Well, color me surprised because I had no idea she was a Terminator. Even though it was on all the poster ads and in every commercial prior, I never saw it coming. Oh man, no, I'm never getting any of that. After hearing about the shooting on the news, Sarah is on the outskirts of the school trying to figure out what happened when she's attacked by the Terminator. He decides to keep her alive to use against John, and when he calls, he imitates her voice.
John,
Slow down. Where are you?
I'm going to the house.
I'll be right there.
Mom!
I love you, John. Stay right there.
Wait a minute. My mom doesn't love me. He takes Sarah back to the house just in time for John to show up.
John?
Mom?
Neat trick.
Oh, the old switcheroo. Well, I sure didn't see that one coming.
Are you being sarcastic, dude?
I don't even know anymore.
She manages to short him out long enough for them to get away.
Did you stop him?
120 seconds and the system reboots.
Give or take, depending on your processor speed. When they stop to rest, Carmen tells Sarah that someone else built Skynet since Miles is dead. I love how in this universe, no matter what happens in the past, there's no such thing as non-existence. The role just moves to someone else. Wait, does that mean if John dies that the role of Messiah for the Machine War just transfers to another person? Back in New Mexico, Ellison shows up because I guess this show just really needed a Samuel Gerard. The fugitive. Come on, people, work with me, jeez!
22 witnesses, Deputy Ridge. 22 of your good town folk. That's a whole football team. Guess what 19 of them saw? A shooter with some kind of robot leg.
You'd think that would raise some kind of suspicion that something about her story just might be true. Or did he think that all 19 people were on acid?
Look up idiot in the dictionary. You know what you'll find?
A picture me?
No! The definition of the word idiot, which you fucking are!
Back at the ranch, John is whining about how it's all happening again, but at least here it makes sense seeing how he's a 15-year-old boy.
You changed the future, you just didn't change it enough. So you can do it again.
I don't know, John.
I can't keep running. I can't.
Oh, why not? Any other miracles you want to ask her to perform while you're at it? World peace, the cure for cancer, she's going to need that later anyway. Or how about fusion energy? Because you seem to be under the impression that your mother is the second coming.
So you've got to stop it. Please.
All right. I'll stop it.
Right.
They go to see Miles's widow to see if she knows anyone who would continue her husband's research. When that turns out to be a bust, Cameron takes them to a bank where they hold it up. She tells the bank manager to lock them in the safety deposit vault and proceeds to open some boxes. She explains that the architect of the bank was a resistance fighter sent back in time to build the place who filled certain boxes with items to build a gun and a time machine from the future using items from the past. Couldn't they have just waited until the bank closed and broke in at night instead of posting their faces all over the 6 o'clock news? I'm just saying, they're supposed to be keeping a low profile here. She says they may not know who built Skynet, but they know where and when it's built and can travel in time to stop it. I'm pretty sure the who is the most important part of this scenario, especially when you have to look for one person out of 3 million.
I'm a fucking moron. I'm known for it.
The Terminator shows up, doing what they should have done at night, just in time to get his head blasted off as they jump through time to the year 2007. Congratulations, John, you're experiencing the most awkward moment ever for a teenage boy. Unless you're Hamlet or you appeared on the I Have Sex with My Mother Jerry Springer episode. Then this is pretty much normal. The second episode is pretty much a setup episode for the rest of the season. They go to get fake IDs from a guy Sarah used to use before they jump forward in time, who they end up killing for trying to rat them out, which is just a way to get Ellison back into the story. We find out other resistance fighters were sent back in time to prevent Skynet from being built, which actually makes sense, and more Terminators were sent back in time to stop them. The Terminator sent to kill John in 1999 reactivates itself 8 years later.
That's just stupid.
Sarah gets caught up on what they missed in the last 8 years, including 9/11, is told she was supposed to die from cancer in 2005, the only thing kept from the third movie, and John goes to see Charlie, who is now married and living in LA. Like I said, nothing super important or exciting about this one, just plotline establishment. The third episode starts out with more narrations and another one of Sarah's dreams.
I sense something.
Yes, it's called a really annoying pattern. By the way, just because it has Chronicles in the name doesn't mean it has to have narrations in the beginning and end of every episode. Is she supposed to be making more books on tapes? If so, I find it really hard to believe since cassette tapes were discontinued in 2002. What, did she bury a couple of hundred of them somewhere just in case? John and Cameron start their first day of school, and here's where things get a little wonky. John tells her not to be a freak, meaning to blend in, which doesn't make sense since we already saw she can do that just fine in the first episode. Yeah, she was a little quirky, but she wasn't robotic. Hell, they even went as far as to have John say she seems different from the other Terminators, so why would they have her suddenly start acting like a regular Terminator?
You are correct. It does not compute.
There's a spray painting on the wall that makes this one girl upset, which makes me think that the writer was trying to sneak in a PSA message about bullying. Elsewhere, Sarah sees Miles' widow again to see if she recognizes anyone in a set of pictures they found on the dead resistance fighters in the second episode, and she points out a young man who used to be Miles' intern.
Is he going to die too?
happens now, he dies.
No. Next we stretch out this plot point for 35 minutes to establish an elaborate ethical debate. Don't you know how television works? By the way, Ellison is still around trying to find out who killed his informant. Meanwhile, the Terminator sent to kill John finds a scientist and gives him the formula to make synthetic skin, which he, of course, does without hesitation.
Of course! Don't you know anything about science?
Sarah tracks down the young man, named Andy, setting up a date with him to find out if he is indeed the creator of Skynet. Turns out that he is making a supercomputer, but it's meant to play chess.
Again, what did it look like?
What did it look like? Who cares what it looked like? It was just a rack of computer equipment.
Okay, but was there obvious network access? Do you know what kind of bandwidth?
It plays chess.
Have you ever heard of the singularity?
You mean the one when a writer comes out with a great story with a satisfying ending and then other people come along and drag that story out for all eternity? Because I'm living that one right now. Back at school, another painting shows up and the girl kills herself. Called it. Her only regret was that last step. John wanted to help the girl, but Cameron stopped him, which leads to another debate about helping people in need, tying into the killing Andy debate and the...
Isn't that what I'm supposed to be?
Sorry, I zoned out. What time is it? The Terminator gets his skin, killing the scientist and taking his eyes. Wait, how is he supposed to see? Eyeballs aren't translucent. And the episode ends with Sarah setting Andy's house on fire along with his supercomputer, preventing the Age of Ultron from ever happening. So, what did I think of this show? Meh. The first 3 episodes aren't really a good representation of the show. The first episode moves a little too fast, but I understand why, since they really just wanted to get to the stuff that happens in 2007. The second episode, like I said earlier, is simply a setup episode, and the third episode is a morality episode. But if you can get past the first 3 episodes, the series does get better. There are a lot of interesting ideas, which adds to the Terminator mythos. However, there are also a lot of dumb ideas. Bringing back the Terminator from the first episode was completely pointless to the series. Ellison is no real contribution to the series, always showing up one step behind him like Mr. McGee in The Incredible Hulk. And digressing Cameron into a regular Terminator really tied the writer's hands. Had they made her more human than machine, they could have explored the aspect of what it really means to be alive, which they fooled us into thinking they were going to do in the first episode. If they wanted her to learn to be human throughout the series, then they could have just made her the shy, quiet kid that sat next to John. Those do exist, guys. Overall, based on the first season, the show is watchable. It's not something you want to view over and over again, but if you're a collector, it's a decent addition to the Terminator series. I'm Don Perignon, and I'll see you next week for the final installment of Terminator Month.
And if anything, then Carl looks more like me.